That $50 bag of cat food you just bought? Your cat's body isn't using most of it. But something as simple as real food from your kitchen can support their body in ways most owners never consider. What makes this confusing is how normal commercial feeding looks. It feels complete, balanced, and consistent on the surface. But once you look closer, the difference between processed food and real nutrients becomes clearer. And that difference starts to show up in your cat's energy, coat, and long-term health. Have you ever noticed how some cats eat regularly, but still seem low energy or less engaged? That change often reflects what their body is absorbing, not just what they're eating. One of the simplest examples is plain cooked chicken. Most processed chicken meal in kibble is exposed to extremely high heat, which reduces usable protein significantly. But lightly cooked chicken breast provides highly bioavailable protein, which means your cat's body recognizes and uses it much more efficiently. This connects directly to how cats evolved. Their natural diet is based on whole prey, not processed ingredients. And here's where the shift becomes noticeable. When protein is easier to absorb, muscle maintenance and energy levels improve over time. Have you ever seen your cat react instantly to the smell of real chicken? That response is tied to instinct, not preference. Another example appears with salmon. Cooked salmon contains omega-3 fatty acids that support inflammation control and cognitive function. These fatty acids are more effective in whole food form than in many processed supplements, which changes how the body uses them internally. But there's an important detail here. It must always be fully cooked to avoid potential parasites. And this is where many people miss the balance. The benefit comes from proper preparation, not just the ingredient itself. Have you ever noticed how your cat's coat changes based on what they eat? That visible difference often reflects internal nutrient absorption. Now this is where digestion becomes important. Plain pumpkin puree works differently from most foods. It provides soluble fiber that helps regulate digestion in both directions, supporting both loose stool and constipation depending on what the body needs. This is one of the few foods that adjusts based on internal conditions, which is why it's often used as a digestive support tool. And here's what makes it practical. It doesn't require complicated changes, just small, consistent additions. Have you ever noticed sudden changes in your cat's litter habits? That often connects more to diet than anything else. Eggs provide another layer of nutritional support. They contain all essential amino acids in a form that is naturally balanced. This makes them a complete protein source, which supports energy, muscle function, and overall health. But preparation matters again. They should always be cooked without added fats or oils. And this is where consistency plays a role. Small, repeated improvements tend to have the strongest long-term effect. Have you ever noticed your cat becoming more active after certain foods? That shift often reflects how efficiently nutrients are being used. If you're starting to recognize some of these patterns, it's worth paying attention to the next part, because it connects everyday feeding choices to long-term health outcomes. Turkey is another example of a highly digestible protein. It's naturally lean and contains compounds that support calmer behavior. For cats with sensitive digestion, this becomes especially useful because it places less strain on the system while still providing strong nutrition. And this is where behavior and diet begin to overlap. Certain nutrients can influence how calm or reactive a cat feels over time. Have you ever noticed changes in your cat's behavior after diet changes? That connection often starts internally before it becomes obvious. Even vegetables like broccoli play a role in small amounts. They provide fiber and antioxidants that support internal balance. In nature, cats consume parts of prey that include plant material indirectly, which means small amounts of fiber are still part of their natural intake. This supports digestion and urinary health over time, even though it doesn't seem like a typical cat food. And this is where feeding becomes more layered, because it's not just about protein, but overall balance. Sweet potato adds another dimension. It provides slow-releasing carbohydrates that help stabilize energy levels. In controlled amounts, This can support weight management, especially in less active indoor cats. But the key here is moderation. Too much shifts the balance away from what their body is designed for. Have you ever seen your cat have bursts of energy, followed by long inactivity? That pattern can sometimes connect back to how energy is released from food. Liver provides extremely concentrated nutrients, including vitamin A, iron, and essential compounds for immune support. But because of its potency, it must be given in very small amounts. Too much creates imbalance rather than benefit. And this is where precision becomes important, because more is not always better with nutrient-dense foods. Shrimp introduces another interesting element. It contains powerful antioxidants that support cellular health. These compounds help reduce oxidative stress over time, which is linked to aging and long-term health decline. And this is where the impact becomes less visible, but still important, because cellular protection builds gradually. Have you ever noticed older cats slowing down without a clear cause? That change often connects to cumulative internal factors. Papaya adds digestive support in a different way. It contains enzymes that help break down hair and protein. This supports smoother digestion and reduces hairball buildup, especially in long-haired cats. And this is where prevention becomes more effective than reaction, because small adjustments reduce larger issues later. Quinoa introduces a complete plant-based protein option. It provides amino acids and minerals that support overall balance. While not a primary food, it can supplement specific needs, especially in cases where diet variety is limited. And this is where flexibility becomes useful, because not every cat responds the same way to the same foods. Carrots contribute through fiber and micronutrients. They support digestion and provide compounds that aid vision. Even though cats rely mostly on protein, these additions support overall function when used carefully and in small amounts. Sardines offer one of the most concentrated nutrient profiles, including omega-3s, calcium, and heart-supporting compounds. In small portions, they support coat quality and cardiovascular health, while remaining easy to integrate into a routine. Rabbit introduces a novel protein source, which reduces the likelihood of food sensitivities. This makes it useful for cats with limited diet tolerance, while still aligning with natural feeding patterns. And this is where the full picture becomes clearer. Because feeding is not about one food, but how different elements work together. There is one insight that changes how all of this is understood. Your cat's body responds more to nutrient quality and absorption than brand or cost. Once you start noticing these patterns, your cat's behavior and health become easier to understand, and small adjustments begin to create visible differences over time. The way you feed your cat is never just about a single meal. It's a system that builds gradually through repeated choices. Watch the next video to learn more about your furry friend, and subscribe so you can get the latest video updates.